Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor as we look ahead to the pick of the action from Doncaster with all races live on Sky Sports Racing. Real blend of action though, because of course we are over the big fences at Aintree for the Grand Sefton, and we have Wincanton's feature meeting of the entire season as well. Being joined once again by Sam Boswell and Declan Rix. Rixie, we've got to start with you. How was the Breeders' Cup?
The Breeders was class now. It was pretty cool. Yeah, I've lived a very sheltered life. My first time ever going to America, and now I'd probably go back every year.
That was your first time to America?
First time
wow,
to America.
What a way to do it.
So, yeah, no, it was class. Del Mar was pretty cool. Breeders' Cup now to throw on an event. Yeah, magic. And then the last 3 days we did down in Vegas. Hence, the voice is just about standing up to scrutiny. But yeah, a magical trip. If you can ever go to Del Mar and the Breeders' Cup is your thing, I would say make it happen. It's definitely worth it.
Oh, I've never been more jealous, I don't think, than over you and seeing your stories on social media going to Del Mar. Oh, it was something else, wasn't it, Sam?
Yeah, no, it was cool. Sorry, you're Sam, I'm Declan.
That's right. You're still in Vegas, to be fair. We can definitely forgive you.
Del Mar looked lovely, but it's no down Royal, Kate, where I was last week. Just some proper, authentic jumps racing, and yeah, I seem to spend half the time going around in an aeroplane, but Envoy Allen was a great winner of the race. Absolutely brilliant story for all concerned. So yeah, it was a really nice time of year, and we're crossing codes for the last time for a while.
Yeah, we are, aren't we? Well, I'm glad that both of you two are back from your jollies. I've been here at Old Blighty the entire time, not feeling jealous whatsoever, but I've been doing lots of form study as a result of that. Now, before we get stuck into the action properly, a reminder, as always, please do remember to gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction. On with our first race. Now, we're starting with the flat. This is at Doncaster with the listed Wentworth Stakes, comes up at 125. 3-year-olds and over 6 furlongs. So the sprinting division, we've got to dip back into the sprinting division because it has just been an absolute muddle, a melee,
carnage,
chaos, carnage, all of the above, Rixie, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been an absolutely bonkers season in the sprint division, and you know, I wasn't here for last week's show, obviously, but topped off again in British Champions Day with Powerful Glory winning at whatever price he was. But anyway, as ever on the show, we digress. Yeah, we've got 13 in here, lads, and we've got 8 fillies or mares. A tough task for them because we're taking on some old, you know, hard-knocking proper sprinters like some Montesabe, Spycatcher, Outpower, Apollo 1 and Zoom Zoom. So I think it's going to be tough for the fillies and mares here, and I'll be concentrating on the boys. Probably should note, both Outpower and Spycatcher both got penalties to carry. They've got to give away £5. So that brings them closer to the rest of the field. But I think Montesabe, I think, is maybe short enough, even though he's going to get weight from some of these. But I'm going to go with Apollo 1 here. Couple of reasons, maybe 3 or 4 reasons really. One, he really loves Doncaster, this guy. He's finished second in the last 2 Portlands at Doncaster off marks of 103 and 102. Clearly likes the place. And I remember going into the Portland this year, I wasn't kind of... I had him on my shortlist, but the team weren't going well, but that hasn't stopped him running well there and running well here. And you can see already early in this VT the nightmare traffic himself and Paul Mulrennan. I mean, look, I know Paul got a lot of stick on the day, but it just goes to show you, it doesn't matter how good you are in this race, you just need a bit of luck in life. And Mulrennan and Apollo 1 backers didn't get it this day. But at the same day, there was a massively stiff headwind this day, and he got lots of cover into the headwind. So while it was a bit of a plus and a bit of a negative, you can see him there. He's finishing out his race well, and he's run a cracker. So even though the yard haven't been going well, I'm not really worried about that because he's shown he's in good form. Look, he's not got the best winning record. He's got 5 wins from 40 starts. It's not awful at the same time, but BetVictor are offering a market here, top 3 finish at 5-4. I really think that's a cracking bet. I make that an odds-on shot, especially with it getting weight from Spycatcher and Outpower, who seems to save his bets are either the Curragh or Ascot.
5-4. He's gone funky again there with the markets, but thinks that it should be an even money or an odds-on shot there. So perhaps the traders have got it wrong in that market, Sam. Maybe.
We shall see. It's an interesting race, this one, and it feels a bit strange to end up tipping up a favourite in the sprint division, but I thought Montesabe really should with the weights and measures with the likes of Spycatcher and Art Power in behind, and Doncaster, softer ground. We're going to go back to Newbury. This was over slightly shorter. We end up finishing third this day, and I think this is a run that just really suggests that he needs that little bit further. Cutting the ground is of no concern whatsoever. Previous winner at Doncaster, but doing the best work late here. And listen, wasn't ever going to win this day, I don't think it's fair to say, but going back up in trip definitely here at Ascot, Kate, I thought showed him to better effect in really good company, it should be added, in comparison to where he's running, I think, tomorrow or Saturday. I just kind of felt like, for me, he's the one to side with. The yard finishing the season really strongly. There's a lot of plus points about the horse's profile that suggests to me 13-8 is a fair price. I appreciate it's short, but I think he might get shorter.
And that wasn't his ground that day as well, was it? Because we had a really different Champions Day this year. We had good ground.
Yeah.
And I think the last time he was at Ascot as well, he never fired. So I think Doncaster, where has he won before? He's run well.
Yes,
here.
Two runs, one win.
Probably suit him well. And he's a closer. I always like to mention pace. Cersei's in there will go forward. A good LR Power will go forward. So it should be a well-run race.
Yeah, I'm with him as well. Where, again, I was kind of cursing myself, siding with a favourite in the sprinting division, but I'm just hoping that it will be class that comes to the fore. So I'm pleased that we were looking back at his run at Ascot in the Group 1 British Champions Sprint Stakes of last season when he finished 5th. But as you both said, it was a strange race because the pace was strong, but he still couldn't come from off the pace in that contest. And it was gluey conditions rather than the soft that we know he absolutely relishes as well. And he obviously had the unfavourable draw that day, doing best of the low draws. So the run proved that he was up to that calibre of sprinting division. So, of course, this is in a listed contest here. So he should have plenty enough to go at this one. Light campaign so far as well, only the 2 starts. Now, he hasn't matched the form from Ascot last year in the 2 starts so far. But again, as we say, he had the weather go against him at Ascot last time out. Just could never really get involved whatsoever. So this track should suit him. Clash should suit him. Course and distance he's won over, as you said. So hopefully he can get back to winning ways.
And I like that, Kate, the fact that we probably don't play up that fact enough. Some of these have had some seriously long seasons.
Yes.
In comparison, you'd like to think the horse is probably coming to the boil at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So a favourite in sprinting division, but who has had a lighter campaign and hopefully will come to the fore for Sam and I at least. Anyway, do let us know in the comment section below who you are siding with. Now we switch codes, and definitely so, to Aintree for the 240, the Grand Sefton Handicap Chase for the 6-year-olds and over 2 mile 5. Now, this saw King Turgeon winning this race last year. He looks to be the first horse to go back-to-back in this race, Sam.
Yeah, tough thing to do, isn't it, over those national fences? And obviously is running here off a significantly higher mark than when he appeared in the race last season. Interestingly, plenty of these not had a prep run for the race, which I think historically was kind of what you wanted to do. But obviously, with the way the ground's been this season, I can understand why some of these haven't managed to be seen before. Interesting market. White Rhino, for me, I think is the Sean Bowen factor coming into play. Maybe just a point or two shorter than that horse could potentially be. Johnny Hu will certainly have his fans. But I kind of went round the houses here and thought, he's a bit shorter, actually, than I wanted to tip him up at. I've just noticed now. Gabriel was, I think, 10-1 when I submitted my selections.
I knew you were going to be with him. He is just your horse. I associate Gabario with you all the time.
I don't know where his best trip is, but I do think the third in this race last year behind King Turgeon, to me, suggested that I felt like he could be there or thereabouts on the premise once again. And listen, he hadn't been seen since February, and I think it was the Ida Chase, wasn't it? So he's coming off a bigger layoff than most here, but plenty of those are. And I can't believe that Connections are throwing him in here half-cooked. I know they've obviously got the other shorter price runner, but I thought he knows he's going to handle the track. You know that he's going to be absolutely fine over those national-style fences. There was a lot to like at the prices. He's getting a bit too short now, to be honest with you. That's as short as I'd want to play him, but I could see him quite easily coming into the mix here in a race of competitive nature. Obviously, Our Power for a yard that seem to be excelling at the moment. They're doing really well. But there's a few that just have question marks for me, and I thought he was a solid yardstick selection, if you like. And obviously, the mark he runs off here, I think, is £3 or £4 lower than last year, whereas King Turgeon's off a significantly higher mark. So I thought that 5-1 was just a bit skinny about the favourite, or co-favourite, I should say.
Yeah, co-favourite Sal with White Rhino, but Gaborio, he is a horse that I really associate with you. So I would have been surprised if you had gone elsewhere, to be honest. Keeping the faith there at 17-2. Now, my horse is actually a bit shorter than I was anticipating as well. 12-1 about Jet Plane.
We've got a leaker in the WhatsApp group, haven't we?
Oh, goodness me, yeah. And not to kind of preempt the end of the show, but he might just be my long shot as well at 12-1. So let's see if I can get away with it or not. But it is interesting, Sam, as you say, about the trends. Coming here on the back of at least one start so far in the season has been a notable plus. And that's exactly what he comes here on the back of, rather than a whole load of these at the head of market. Understandably so, with the warm conditions and the ground being how it has been, that lots of these are coming here on seasonal debut. But Jet Plane, now we're looking at him last time out. He actually finished 5th at Worcester, but it is another positive if a horse did not finish in the top 3 on their most recent start, and ideally that was the first start of the season as well. That's exactly what Jet Plane had. Now this is in mid-September, and this was on the back of a Hunter Chase campaign in the spring, so it was actually a good rules return. Offer mark of 133, so he is down just £1 from this, but I don't think he's got loads in hand, admittedly, but he fits the trends for the Grand Sefton, and I just think that it is interesting that the Skeltons are pitching him into this sort of company, so hopefully he will take a notable step forward from that. And at 12-1, perhaps wanted a little bit bigger, but I mean, I've got to just lump it now, haven't I, Rixie?
That's it. I'm surprised Sam hasn't put up Colonel Harry for the Snowden yard. No?
Oh, yeah, that's another horse, yeah, to be fair.
He made the shortlist, but again, reappearance, and, you know, I think obviously Jamie's having a fantastic time of things at the moment, so is Gav. They're both teaming up to great effect. I can't think what his strike rate is, but he's had a huge amount of winners in the last month, and I wouldn't be shocked to see Colonel Harry go well here. But again, I just wanted something a little bit more proven around those Aintree fences.
You teed him up beautifully there for that one.
Yeah, well, it was interesting he said proven because, look, as we all know, the Grand National fences, they don't take the jumping that they used to, but it's still a bit
different.
It's still a bit of a strange test. You can get horses who are quite good jumpers and they just don't seem to take to it for whatever reason. So with that, I'm kind of going down the similar lines with you, Sam, that I wanted a horse who's gone well over the fences before, and that's last year's winner, King Turgeon. Now look, it's going to be tougher for him. I think he's a stone higher in the handicap. I think he won last year off 10 stone 2, and he's going to carry 11 stone 5 on Saturdays and in softer ground, which won't make it easy for him. But one thing we know about him is he does handle this test, and he is a really good jumper, this guy. Like, when he's on song, he is super fluent and super quick. He can go a little bit left, but that's not the worst thing ever around Aintree. And this is him winning fresh last season at Chepstow. This is the race he won before winning this race last season. And as you can see there, he absolutely bolted up. As I said, he's got the numbers are against him in terms of more weight. He's higher in the handicap and he hasn't had a run, but generally his record fresh has been very good, and the fact that he's come here and won over these fence sports is another positive. The pipe yard as well have made, I'd say, a solid start, a sound start to the season. So I'm hoping they've got him nice and ready, and like I said, he goes well fresh, and they're probably looking to get him higher up the handicap to get him into the Grand National, given he's got form already over like 3 Mile 2 and around Wincanton and that. So even though he's much higher in the weights, I don't think this mark is beyond him.
No, he's such a likeable horse. So many people will be rooting for him, neutrals, or even if you've had a bet against him, if he went and won, you still wouldn't be that upset, would you? Because he is just a real model of a horse, and how he goes over these fences. Like I say, you just hope that he keeps rising the handicap, actually, to be able to get a run in the Grand National, because he is well worth his place in that. So that is King Turgeon. Again, do let us know your own selections in the comments section below. And whilst you're there, also hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button so you never miss an episode. On to Wincanton now. More jumping for us. For 3:30 is the Badger Beers Handicap Chase, a premier handicap for the 4-year-olds and over 3 Mile 3. Now, this is their feature handicap from the Somerset track, and we've got a small field in this race. This is actually the smallest field we've had since 2016, when Gentleman John won for the Tizzards. So can Scarface do the same for the same team, Rixie?
I hope not, because I'm not with him. I'm going to go with 3 under through 5, and not just because I like the old game of golf every now and again, but the key to this horse seems to be nice ground, doesn't it? Going right-handed, and he's going to get both of those here. He actually finished second in this race a couple of years ago, off not too much of a lower mark, and he's been in good order. I think by the sounds of reading in between the lines with him, the better the ground helps just with his wind. I think his wind can be a little bit hit and miss, but the better the ground, that just helps him. And this is him, just going down by a nose to Ascot lover Victorino, who I'm looking forward to seeing getting back maybe in that new race at Ascot there, about 3.5 miles this year. But if he repeats this form, he's going to take a lot of beating, because look, it's not the greatest of races, is it? He's a horse who likes to go forward 300 through 5. His jumping, I think, as he's got older, he's got better, and the conditions are going to suit. Good record fresh. Paul Nicholls going all right at the moment, although he had a couple of horses blow out, pull up, I think, at Newbury yesterday, which I was a little bit of a worry. But this guy is rock solid if he's in good order. This is, if Paul Nicholls wins the Trainers' Championship, these are the kind of races that he kind of mops up in and does really well, and I hope he can go well here. It's a bit of a mad race. Like Tommy Bow, I thought could maybe hate Wincanton, given he's a proper stayer. Soul Icon, I thought was really interesting, because I doubt many will be going better than him at the top of the straight, but it's just whether he gets home. I think he's by 60s Icon. He's not really bred for this trip, but 300 through 5 is in good order. I can see him going off favourite. I can see him winning.
Yeah, and it's tricky, isn't it? When you look at this horse on the face that pulled up the last twice, why is he an 11-4 shot in a race like this? But I'm in total agreement with you. And it is mainly the right-handed factor. He's 5 from 10 going right-handed, and he loves small fields as well. Now, when we were looking back at him previously, that was 3 starts ago, as you said, when he finished second. And that was at Ascot in the Swinley Premier Handicap Chase over the 3 miles, beaten and nosed by Victorino, which is no mean feat in itself whatsoever. And that run was actually right up there with his career best, which saw him earn his place in the Grand National. And this run was off £1 higher than he's actually running off of on Saturday as well. Now, of course, he ran in the Grand National. He pulled up in that. He also pulled up in the Bet365 at Gold Cup, which I know is right-handed, which goes against the point that I'm initially making. But we know how competitive a contest that really is. Now, the Yard have actually won this race 4 times since 2017, including 2 off top weight as well. So, and he's a horse where he tends to bowl along in front, which is something you really want at Wincanton. I'm hoping that will just give him the winning edge. And of course, he finished second in this race behind Blackjack Magic in 2023, who made all that.
And that was only a £5 lower mark, so it's not as if he's massively up in the handicap, say like a King Turgeon, who's a stone above what his last mark. And if he's in good order, I can see him going off favourite, especially given the art of diplomacy. He had a bad old fall at Chepstow last time.
I would not want to side with a horse going to Wincanton on the back of a fall last time out. That is probably the last track I'd want to side with a horse that has that angle. But yeah, interesting ways to play this, though, Sam. We haven't got a massive field, as I say, but a few different angles. No,
and we should give Badger Beers a good shout out, not just because I like a good beer, but a 64th renewal of the sponsorship, I think. Don't quote me on that, but they've been there a long time, and I do feel for them. But look, listen, conditions are what they are, and Clark's, of course, can only do so much, so we shan't bash them for it. But the race itself looks interesting enough, even with the 7. Soul Icon broke my heart last year, just got chinned, didn't he, in the photo?
I was thinking, did you side with him? Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I would be just... Of the horses that are in here that are going to go a bit forward in trip, I'm not sure. I think the petrol gauge might just be wobbling. The only thing is, with such a small field, I did wonder if you could pinch a bit of a soft lead. You've got a couple of older horses in here that maybe just don't want any jockeys to be caught napping here if you're against Soul Icon. But it was Scarface for me, who's another horse that's going back up in trip. He has run over 3 miles over hurdles at Haydock. He finished 4th in the Prestige, but he's an interesting runner. We're watching him win last time out. This was at Newton Abbot. And listen, if this was at Plumpton, I think he'd be a shorter price because he seems to excel around there. But he's never been to Wincanton before, and he's gone okay fresh in the past. And I think he's still... I was reading back through some of the trainer quotes, and they wanted to sort of take their time with him over fences, and he will go back up in... they said he will go further in trip, and I just wonder if they're obviously local to the area, and I kind of think this might have been earmarked as a bit of a target. The Tizzards have ticked over okay this season. I'd probably like to see him going in here in even stronger form, but I just felt with a small field, unexposed at the trip, Art of Diplomacy off the back of that fall, and he's been really progressive. 300 through 5, I've just had fingers burnt too many times. At 11 to 4, I can let him go. And, you know, Anti-Honeyball's couple of 10-year-olds in here, I'm kind of assuming might just need the run, although he did have a winner of our race yesterday, so he's starting the season reasonably well. So it was a bit of a sort of, how do I end up here? But I came down on Scarface, and I'll have a small play at 7 to 1. Won't go too mad. But yeah, a shame it's just a 7, but it is what it is, and we need to try and find an angle.
Will you be giving it the say hello to my little friend if he wins, no?
Hopefully, Dave. Very good film. Yeah.
I could just picture it now, but yeah, hopefully we won't be doing that because 300 through 5 will hopefully come through with the win for Rixie and I at 11 to 4. There you go. Was it named after? Was it Max McNeil's dad?
Was he playing at St Andrews or something like that? Really? And he was going really well.
Yeah.
I might be. Yeah, it's a good story, even if it's not true.
I know, even if we've just made it up on the spot, it's a good story all the same. Yeah, we will do some digging in to find out exactly why he is called that. But for now, though, we better head back to Doncaster for the 3:45. This is the November Handicap 3-year-olds and over a mile 4. Now, Dec, you actually tipped up Lord Melbourne to win this last year at a double-figure price, so it makes sense to start with you.
Probably the last winner I tipped up on the show, to be fair.
That's definitely not the case.
Yeah, it's going to be trickier for him, isn't it? Because he's well up in the handicap, having bolted up last time out on his seasonal debut. Although he's got Jack Dace taking £5 off him. Interesting, the top 2 at the market are 3-year-olds, aren't they? Maybe even the top 3. And I think the ground is going to be softer than last year. Looking at the going stick reading, I tried to have a look at an updated reading before we came onto the show this morning, but Donny hadn't done it. To be fair, we started the show early, so not having to go there. You just wonder with the ground getting this soft over this kind of trip, to those horses who are a little bit older, a little bit more streetwise, stronger in their physique, just maybe have a small bit of an edge. And I'm actually going to go for a horse who's in the bar at the moment, which is always nice. And it's Adjuvant. Look, he ran in this race last year. He's a horse who loves to get his toe in. He's a 6-year-old now. I think we have had a couple of 6-year-olds win this race in the last decade. And, you know, what this now really doesn't tell the full story is we can see here now, I think we're approaching 2 out or maybe a furlong and a half out. He looked like he had a great chance here, but he had a wide draw on the day. He used a bit of petrol getting a nice posse early. He was then 3 and 4 wide without no cover, maybe just doing a little bit too much, and at the end of the race it just all took its toll, and I thought he shaped a good bit better than the distance beaten on the day. Now, unfortunately, the draw hasn't worked out brilliant for him again. I think he was drawn 18 this day and he's drawn 14 on Saturday. And we should note as well, I think there's going to be fresh ground on the inside of the flat track there at Doncaster on Saturday. So I'm just hoping those horses that are drawn low in single figures don't have a little bit of an edge. Or if they do, maybe Dylan Hogan can maybe use a little bit of that early pace that he showed in this race last year and get a nice posse kind of close to the rail as he can. I would like to see them take a lead, to be honest. I think last time out he tried to make the run-in at York, and I'm not sure it completely suited him. But he's, again, we mentioned earlier in the show about horses having light campaigns. He's had a light campaign. He's only had 3 runs. He ran a cracker at Goodwood at the start of the season. Well, start of the season for him, was it August or something? Yeah. The ground was too quick for him. He was a drifter in the market. But what I loved there is he showed a really good attitude under pressure. It shows, even though he's an older horse, the fire still burns. And then he went to Haydock, and the ground just got it too quick for him, and he's probably not up to that kind of level of form. And I can't remember what's the name, the Old Borough Cup, I think it was. He's probably not up to that level, especially on that kind of ground. Last time out, as I said, I don't think making the run suited him. The Michael Belliard are going really well at the moment. They're finishing the season strong. I think they've got a 31% strike rate at the moment. They're going well at the moment. He likes soft ground. I could easily see him running into the places. And, you know, if I am right about maybe some of the 3-year-olds just maybe not physically ready for this kind of race, given him weight, you know, he might be able to steal a lot. It'd be lovely to go back to back in the race.
I know, wouldn't it, just? Yeah, and you've sided with another big price horse as well, who is in the bar. Sam, who do you like?
Yeah, I'm pleased the flat season's ending for one reason. I can give up on Master Builder, who I'm gonna swerve here. So we all know what happens here. I'm sure David Minister will be delighted that I won't be jinxing his horse in this final flat race of the season. Declan spoke about Lord Melbourne, last year's winner. I think it is going to go to a 3-year-old. I think they obviously seem to dominate the market here, but I thought his stablemate Master Vintage was one of the most interesting horses here. Lightly raced is a term you can easily use for this horse. We're going to see him winning at Lingfield last time out. the 2 runs prior to this, there's some interesting backstory, if you like. 1 run in at Ireland, where he finished 4 lengths behind the St Leger winner, Scandinavia. And then arrived to Rafe Beckett's yard and won on heavy ground at Goodwood. If you can win on heavy ground at Goodwood, soft at Donny should pose no issues whatsoever. That came after a bit of a break. That was September, and he followed this up at Lingfield just 2 weeks later or so. Look at how he pulls away. Absolutely lovely stuff. Mark of 92, I think, could just underestimate how good this horse could be. Very interested to see what the market does. We do see, especially this flat season, we've seen some wild moves. I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up going off favourite here or something like that. I'm convinced that 9-1 will be shorter on the day, and I think he could just round off a season that I think Rafe Beckett maybe... Is it mad to think he's underachieved after what he'd done the year before? Because he has such high...
Absolutely, I don't even think that's a question.
I think we have such high aspiration, and he is ending the season with some good winners, so I'm hopeful he can take back-to-back renewals, but with a different horse.
It'll be interesting to see, I think, how he goes in the market with Lord Melbourne, the 2 of those. He's obviously trained by the same trainer. We'll see how they go. And is your lad being ridden by Eddie Greatrix? I wouldn't read too much into that because I don't think Ross Ryan can do the weight.
I was going to say, Eddie can do 8.5 and he's 8.6. So, yeah, I hope he's...
When's the last time any of us did 8.5? I'm sure could do it in a heartbeat.
Well saved.
Well saved, I was going to say. He chucked it out there and quickly clawed it back.
I was like, oh no!
He was looking at me when he said it, Kate, don't worry.
I wasn't taking any sort of aim at that, but also the point stands, and it is still true. So moving from one master to the other, Master Builder to Master Vinter here, but interesting what he does in the market, currently a 9-1 shot. Now, I may have got my wires crossed with my long shot earlier on. I'm giving away all my best bets throughout the show, but I believe my long shot is actually Insanity, who is also in the bar here, so who actually does justify being a long shot at 20-1 in here as well. It is, exactly. I'm with the McNeil family horses here, at Wincanton, the flat at Doncaster. Who would have thought it? He's ever so consistent, though, this horse. But that has meant, annoyingly, he has been creeping up the handicap mark as a result. Now, we're looking back at him at the Shergar Cup. This was 3 starts ago, finished 3rd this day. And this was in a really competitive contest, as we know, over a mile 4. Now, for all that he finished 3rd, he was only beaten a length, as you can see in the green colours with the pink hat there, bouncing back from a lesser performance at Newmarket. But he ran really well, considering a truer pace would have suited him an awful lot better. And the last time out, he was ever so strong at the line at York over 10 furlongs, suggesting, as we know, he wants further than that nowadays. And that was the winner got first run on him at York. That was still a solid effort, up another £1. But he's just too big a price with the trip to suit him even better this time round. So at 20-1, I will take Insanity. But again, 3 different selections. I'm pleased that we're spreading at least anyway for the November Handicap, because it is as competitive as it always is. Again, do let us know your own selections in the comments section below as we head over to the sofa to give you our best bets of the weekend. Rixie, you're up first.
Yeah, full transparency. I didn't get much to look at outside of the races we covered this week because I only got back on Wednesday night.
That is absolutely fair.
But I hope the 3 will go well. I do like them, to be fair. The nap is going to be Apollo 1, but a top 3 finish. I think this is a good bet. And look, I appreciate it's a short price, but I think he should be odds on, especially he's getting weight from the likes of Art Power and Spy Catcher in there. Clearly loves Donny. Last 2 times he's run in the Portland, he's run 2nd off marks of 103 and 102. No problem in soft ground, so he will do for me. And then the next best is going to be 3 under through 5 for the Nicholls team. He's already run 2nd in this race before. I think he's only £5 higher in the race now. We've only got a small field. Going right-handed, nice ground seems to be key to him, and he has got a good record fresh, so he will do for me. And then the long shot is going to be Adjuvant in the November Handicap. Ran well in the race last year from a wide draw. I'm just hoping Dylan Hogan can tuck him in, get a bit of cover, maybe get him close to the rail as he can, because it sounds like the ground down the inside with the bend coming up quick there, it's going to be better ground, and you're obviously saving ground. But look, he loves these conditions, and like I said, he shaped a hell of a lot better in the race than he did last year. And the Michael Bell team are going well, so good luck to Ding Dong and all his stable.
I've never heard anyone call him that before. I mean, it must have done.
Have you not? No, I think, to be fair, Chapman calls him Ding Dong plenty. Yeah, that's what I've just nicked.
I'd pay good money to watch you go and say good afternoon, Ding Dong, to his face, Rixie.
Oh, he would. Yeah. No, he would. We know he would. Yeah, gladly so. But oh, that is amazing.
If I can talk to Mikel Barcelona before the King George.
I know, this is what I was just trying to think. As soon as he came into our audio there for talking to Mikel Barcelona, he would definitely do that for Michael Bell. Sam, your own best bet.
Yes, right. The Nap. Montesep, let's keep it simple. Ending the flat season, hopefully with a winner there. The 2 runs, like I say, I think Kate, me and you on the same wavelength here with this horse, and you know, going back up in trip at Ascot into better company, finished a fair place, I thought, considering I don't necessarily think that's the perfect track. Doncaster he's gone well at before. I just think there's so many boxes ticked there. You know, a couple of opposition in the market have to give away weight. There's a lot to like. So 13-8, it's as short as I want to play, but that'll be the Nap. The next best, we're going to go to Wincanton, and I appreciate there's not as many runners we'd like, but thought the 145, there's a bit of an angle there at Wincanton, which is it's the Paul Barber Memorial Race. Paul Nicholls has got Jubilee Alpha in there, the favourite off top weight, and I'm sure he'd be absolutely very keen to win this race. He's won it a couple of times, once in its previous guise and once when it was a race named after him. And like I say, it was Larchmont Lash, I think, in 2018. So he sent nice horses there before. I'm looking forward to seeing how this horse goes this season. I noticed his comments around Cheltenham when the horse ran. He just said his mares at Cheltenham weren't firing on all cylinders. Went back to the April meeting and won on good ground, which is going to be key for anything you want to back at Wincanton. Going to need to handle it. So I thought Jubilee Alpha would be my next best. The long shot, I'm going to really push it here. Gabrielle's going to be the long shot. 17-2 is not really a long shot price.
That's why you're saying.
I'm hoping there's a drift, but I do think, you know, Oliver Green or Josh Guerrero have got a strong hand in the race. I appreciate everyone's eyes will be drawn to Sean Bowen, but this horse for me is a bit more proven. The mark looks workable as well, likes Aintree. I'd be really surprised if it's not in the first 3.
There you go then, yeah, hopefully for that.
But we need a drift. We need a drift.
The drift. Oh, we'll let you get away with it for now. I would have said that with more conviction had I have had Jet playing as my long shot. He's actually going to be my next best bet. But my Nap is going to be 3 under through 5, so I'm glad that we agree there. Mainly for the fact that he's going right-handed. He's 5 from 10 right-handed. I know he disappointed right-handed last time out at Sandown, but that was an ultra-competitive Bet365 Gold Cup. You can forgive his pull-up in the Grand National prior to that. When you look back at his Swindley chase second behind Victorino, that was a really, really solid effort, and he's well weighted here. And of course, he's most likely to see out the trip rather than a few of those in the contest. Jet Plane, as I say, is going to be my next best bet, a horse that fits the trends. The fact that he's had a run already this season. He didn't finish in the first 3 last time out, but still ran a solid race when he finished 5th at Worcester. Now, of course, he is on a tough mark, but I still hope that the Skeltons have targeted him at this race for a reason. And Insanity is going to be my long shot here in the November Handicap. Consistency, he's just overpriced. He's placed on his last 3 starts, annoyingly so, because of course it's meant that he has crept up the handicap as a result of that. His 3rd at Ascot 3 starts ago, we were looking at earlier in the Shergar Cup, was a really, really solid effort. And last time out, over 10 furlongs at York, just suggested that he wanted a further trip, which of course he's getting this weekend. So that wraps up this show, lads. We've rattled through a whole plethora of different action here, but Sam, we've got something exciting coming back next week.
Good news. The boosts are back.
Yeah.
Making a return in time for us to
9-4 out to 5-2.
We'll get that South African. Going to get that South African trader back for your ones, Rixie. No, the boosts are coming back. Obviously, we're going to try not be just all about Cheltenham as we enter the jump season. It's a big part of it. We know people love it. I've seen how many people have already been playing anti-post on our books, but we're going to try and do some boosts around the big races. We'll all have a go each week or something and see what we can do. So, like I say, keep your eyes peeled, because touch wood, if the technology works, the boosts are back next week.
That's it. Fingers crossed that the technology will work and the machines will fire us out some South African trader prices as well, just to keep a Rixie sweet.
Only on his ones.
As long as they're significantly bigger, I don't mind.
Oh, there you go then.
Just not for us, obviously, it's for the viewers.
So do make sure then to catch those as of next week. But that is everything from us, as I say, on this week's show. So lads, thank you so much for your work. Thank you so much for watching. Best of luck with your bets this weekend. And we'll be back at the same time next week to preview Cheltenham's November meeting.